Okay, great.
Hi, RAM fans. This is Miley Martin from Student Activities at Fresno City College. And RAM 30 is all about meeting inspirational Fresno City College alum and community members who share their story of success. And today we are meeting a successful FCC alum. Also, he's a veteran. And he graduated or transferred to UCLA in 2012. So please welcome Nick Lara.
Good
Hi.
morning. Good
Good
morning. How are you doing,
morning.
Miley?
Hey, I'm doing great. Love the background because you work in Beverly Hills.
I do. Yes, I've worked there since 26, 2013.
Wow, awesome,
Time flies by.
awesome. That I want to hear all about your story because I know you are a e-commerce entrepreneur. You're the director of programming. You do events. You do trainings. You're a true leader in that field, but you're in Beverly Hills, the land of glamour, and it is my old stomping ground. You don't know what I did there for quite some time, but let's talk about what you do in the Chamber of Commerce, how your veteran background comes into play, and I'll ask you more questions. So go ahead, share.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, I served 6 years in the Air Force, which I joined right out of high school. So that was back in 2002. Not to date myself too much, but they're pretty uncertain times, as many can probably recall, during that time. So I do think that was part of what shaped me and as a person. And then my role at the Beverly Hills Chamber of Commerce is as our director of programs. So I get to help businesses of all kinds on a daily basis. And my main focus is networking events. So what brings these businesses together, what helps foster a healthy business environment, and then also educational programs. So there are a lot of glitzy and glamorous businesses in Beverly Hills, but there's also a lot of mom and pop shops that are families that own them and don't have all the resources that some of the bigger name companies do. So we try to figure out how to bring the resources to these small businesses so they have access to them.
Uh-huh. So, as a director and entrepreneur, how do you balance everything going on with this pandemic happening? How is that
So,
affecting you? I'm just
so yeah,
curious.
that's a great question because I think it's impacting everybody a little differently. For
Mhm.
me here in Los Angeles, it's been kind of nice because I get a little bit of time back without having to drive and commute to work. So that's nice, but then it's also difficult because there is a lot of, I feel like, noise going around. So it's very easy to get distracted. A lot of us are knocked off of our routines and such. So I think for me personally, it's having a schedule, having set goals for yourself, and then just really making sure that you stick to them. Because one of my favorite sayings are those things that are easy to do means that they're also easy not to do. So it's important to write them down, make sure you're getting them done. And, even something as small as, waking up and whether it be stretching or meditating or something to kind of start your day off on a positive foot.
Well, we touched on it just for a moment, but I did work in the Beverly Hills area for about 10 years. I worked for a celebrity, ran an office. We put together a health and beauty business, cosmetics, and so forth. A lot of people don't know that. But anyways, I know that's a very glamorous environment, and there are a lot of opportunities. You rub shoulders with a lot of influential people. And I know working at the Chamber of Commerce, you do, like you said, a lot of networking events. So you're running into all types of people, as I can imagine. So how do you stay grounded?
Yeah, you said it perfectly. It's kind of a surreal experience because I was born and raised in Fresno, and then I thought that was somewhat of a small town, having some family in Los Angeles and other places. Then I went in the military. I was actually stationed up in North Dakota, so then I really
Wow.
learned what a small town is. So then going from there, then going back to Beverly Hills, it's kind of just a experience that I never thought I would necessarily have. But at the root of things, I'm born and raised in Fresno, so I think it was just such an awesome city to be born and raised in, just because it is so diverse and you meet people from all walks of life. So I think that staying grounded is like that's just who I am, and I've never lost sight of that. And it's kind of easy in that way, because I know, it's great to hang out with these people or to get to know them, or just see them on the street or whatever it may be, but that's not how I was born and raised. So it's fun, but it's definitely not who I am, at the core of it.
That is a key thing. I grew up in Hawaii and in a large family, and so I worked there as well in Century City on the 19th floor for many years and had a commute and so forth. But
Great views from up there.
oh yeah, you can really lose sight of who you are when you are in that world, and things happen very fast, and people just want to get to the people at the top. You're the gatekeeper, you're rubbing shoulders, so it is a fun environment, but it can bring you down too. I mean, I felt, well, that's another story, but let's go back to you went to Fresno City College.
Yes.
And I'm just curious, how did you learn to develop your confidence and set big goals for yourself? Did you have a mentor?
So I love that question, because that's what helped me in my e-commerce business and becoming an entrepreneur. Was I did have some mentors that came into my life that have done things that I've wanted to do, and so I sought them out, and they've been willing to help me and kind of coach me and that sort of thing. But as far as at Fresno City College, my biggest piece of advice is to dream big. There's so many possibilities coming out there, and it was so fun, because it was like, you had friends that were transferring to big colleges, to smaller colleges. They had VOTEC classes and such. So it's just like people were just doing so many different things, and that was just so interesting and neat to me. And me personally, one of my mentors there was Michael Roberts, who taught English there. And I kind of had a path that I thought I was going to take to transfer out of there. And Michael was awesome in telling us that there are so many different options for you to take, and if you need any help with writing your admissions essay or anything like that, he would spend his own personal time outside of class to help students do that. And that just opened up a world of possibilities to me, because I just never really even thought of that. I had some family that went to college, but definitely it was our generation, my generation, that really where we started to see more of our family go to college. So I didn't have my parents had a little bit of college in them, so they weren't able to necessarily guide me past where I would see myself after Fresno City College. So having a mentor, whether it is in school or outside just with life, is so important.
So you transferred into UCLA. Is that when you kind of got involved with the chamber? You mentioned that you've been at the chamber. Did you do an internship there, or how did that all come about?
Yeah, so going into what would be my fourth year, I started looking at internships for just different possibilities and different things I was going to get into. And I honestly didn't know what a chamber of commerce was. I just saw Beverly Hills and was like, hey, what the heck, I'll give it a try. So I applied for that position as well as a few others, and the chamber gave me a call back, and I didn't have really any office experience. I had limited. I worked in the veterans office at Fresno City College, but a little bit of different of an environment. But yeah, that's where I got my start, was as an intern. And then as my internship was coming to an end, I got fortunate that there was a part-time position that opened up, which worked well with my school schedule. And then came my fourth year, where going into kind of like that last quarter or so, where kind of had that uncomfortable discussion of, well, I'm getting ready to graduate. I kind of need to know if there's opportunity here in this office, or do I need to look for any outside? And was fortunate to find a full-time position there, and have worked my way up since then.
I was wondering, like, wow, it's just, of course, you say Beverly Hills, and we kind of all go, wow, and so I was wondering, like, wow, I'm guessing maybe you did an internship, but awesome. I mean, I know a lot of students, are encouraged to do an internship, and many times they are hired. We had a student from Fresno State intern in the student activities office, and we kept encouraging her to apply. She was awesome, and we hired her. So internships are awesome. Good to hear that. Let's see.
Yeah, if I could just add to that.
Yeah.
So now it's somewhat fun that now I'm the one that gets to be the one that interviews our interns that we bring in, And so it's fun telling them my story, but also just to kind of flip roles a little bit now. And I just still remember being that intern sitting there so nervous because I'd never just had, any kind of experience like this. So internships are so important. They really give you some great experience where it helps shape where you might want to go in life.
Mm-hmm. That is awesome. So, how do you think your time at Fresno City College and UCLA prepared you for this time in your life?
It absolutely invaluable experience. So I still have a lot of friends that went to Fresno City College that I met there at Fresno City College that I keep in touch with. And again, you meet so many different types of people. So some of them went on to Fresno State, some of them went on to other universities outside of Fresno. But that's just one of those things where making those connections with people and just kind of building those friendships helps shape you, and then it gives you people that you can bounce ideas off of and also gain experience from without having to go through it yourself. And then at UCLA, I think it's really kind of the power of association. So you do meet a lot of people. Again, now you're at more of an international university where people come from all over the world to go to school there. And getting to know different people, I mean, that's really, I think, one of the biggest influences that I had on myself is now I got to meet people from other parts of the world and get to just know them and what they're striving to do. And it's helpful to have those kinds of interactions with people and relationships.
So, when you were in the Air Force, did you have dreams and goals? I mean, I'm guessing to finish school and to, I don't know what type of career you were thinking about going into. Did you have any things you want to share about that?
Yeah, I wasn't a great student in high school. It's kind of funny to say that now, looking back at, being able to go to Fresno City College and on to UCLA, but I wasn't a great high school student. So I didn't have, I don't think, a lot of opportunity to go to a college out of high school for what I felt like I was capable of at the time. The Air Force definitely helped kind of structure my life and teaching some discipline and very much so leadership as well. So that was absolutely just invaluable going forward for me. And then I knew once I was getting towards the end of my time that that's just not what I wanted to do for the rest of my career. But it, again, to your point, gave me that confidence of, I've done this. It was something that was difficult for me. Then, I'm not scared to, go back to Fresno and go to Fresno City College and just kind of see where life takes me from there.
Mm-hmm. I think it's important that students right out of high school, a lot of students do need that maturing, that time to mature and to learn some leadership and to branch out. So what challenges personally and professionally have you encountered along your journey to success?
So personally, and this ties back into school, was once I got out of the Air Force, I took about a year off. It was right around the time of the recession. So back in 2008, where I just really didn't know what was available. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. But one of my friends actually encouraged me to, hey, let's just go get signed up at Fresno City College. Let's take some classes. Let's see where, that kind of takes us. And I started actually in the spring semester. So, and my son was born in January of 2010. So I February of 2010. I started in January of 2010 at Fresno City College. So I think being a father and raising a child through community college and then UCLA was difficult for me, but one of the most just worthwhile experiences being able to be that example to him that if you have a goal, if you have a passion for something, then just don't let anything get in your way and stop you. Just keep pushing through it. And then as far as professionally, there have been positions that I've applied for that I really thought might be my next step or whatever that may be, that I just didn't end up panning out for me. Within the chamber itself, we're a pretty small organization. So one of the personal challenges I've just taken on is to be more of a leader within our organization. So a lot of people think that to be a leader, you need to be, the top person in your organization, but that's just not necessarily the case. You can be a leader in really any role that you have, but just be a good example to other people, encourage other people, listen and care about other people is kind of what being a good leader is all about.
That's so important that you bring that up because a lot of times, you know, we don't think that we can lead, but it's not about being the highest paid or being the most educated. You can lead at any level in an organization. It's taking your to serve. Basically, you're serving others and to have great customer service, to have a great attitude, to go that extra the extra mile, if you will, to show others that you care with, you know, emotion and empathy. I think that's so important that, you know, anybody can develop their leadership no matter where they are, where they're working, but being responsible, respectful. And I know, I'm sure being in the Air Force taught you many, many things and shaped you as a great leader. So, what advice can you share with students who find themselves in an upside down world today, and how would you encourage them to stay with their studies?
That's a great question. Just again, when I had started at Fresno City College, the economy was not in a great place, and I can just imagine the struggles that some students are having right now with having to learn remotely, which isn't, you know, the best situation for every student. I know for me, I don't learn well when it's not in just kind of a collaborative environment and having that connection to the instructor and such. So, but it's also remembering that education is such a powerful tool, and you get that education both in the classroom, but also outside of the classroom and with the people again that you meet and such. So I think remembering what your goal is, and I know for at Fresno City College, there's a lot of students that are there that are a first generation college student. So just remembering that you have your own goals, but other people are looking up to you that you may not even realize, and you're getting to set that example for them. And I think that's just such a powerful and awesome role that you get to play as a person. And so I think that's the main thing is keeping your eye on that ultimate goal, whatever that goal may be for you. And even if you don't necessarily reach that goal, John C. Maxwell, who's a business leader, has a great saying of failing forward. So, you know, it's okay to fail and not necessarily reach what you may think is a goal, because life is a pretty windy road. So it's okay. It's okay to fail. You know, it's actually better to fail early. He says fail early, fail often, but just keep moving forward. So, you know, don't let this environment keep you down in any kind of way. Just keep pushing through it and everything will work out.
Right. So
Yeah.
true. So true. So you have this gritty inner drive, and I can tell you are motivated. You mentioned that you're an entrepreneur, you started a business. How many years have you been an entrepreneur, or has this been something you've done all through college and you've had this business for a while?
No, not at all, actually. So I think one of the things that the pandemic has helped people do is kind of slow down a little bit and maybe refocus what their passions are and such. And when I was at Fresno City College, I knew I was going to be, you know, a business student. I was going to go to a business school, and it didn't quite pan out that way. I ended up doing political science because I'm passionate about politics as well. But business, I've always been drawn to it. So working at the Chamber of Commerce, I get to work with a lot of entrepreneurs, small business owners. So it was right around the beginning of the pandemic where I was just open to opportunities, and again, met some mentors that are successful business people, and they somewhat said the same thing. We see that you're open to something else, and you know, if you're willing to put the work in, we're willing to guide you through it. And so it's only been a couple of months, and so there's obviously some struggles just getting a business up and off the ground, but it's been great to have some guidance through this path.
Well, I think that's very exciting. I know starting your own business, it is a long haul to make it, to see it to the end, but learning how to build it. And I'm sure you said everything is virtually, it's all done online. How
Mm-hmm.
exciting. Did you set up your own website and do all of the things that go into building that business?
Uh, Still building the website, but yeah, website in development, and you know, it's app based and such. So there's just a lot that, you know, goes into it, but really the idea behind it is the leadership aspect. So the idea of building a business, I think, is also focusing on yourself as a person and how you can lead other people. So a lot of the focus is even off of the technical side of it, but the personal development side and the leadership side of it.
So being an innovator, I know you know how to take an opportunity. Everyone's at home, they're thinking about other things. Some people have lost their jobs. Um, I think it's awesome that you shared this information because it just shows that you can make anything happen if you want to make it happen. I think, I don't know you personally. We probably crossed paths at Fresno City
Mhm.
College, but you have a great story of success, of leaving high school, going into the service, really honing your leadership skills, if you will, taking advantage of going to school, going to Fresno City College, transferring into UCLA, being a great Bruin. Love that area, and you're working in a beautiful and exciting area with, I'm sure there's a lot of energy because there's a lot of money, there's opportunity, there's just, this glamorous, I think of glamour, Rodeo Drive, and Hollywood is right there. I think it's very exciting what you've put together, and I'm excited to hear what you're going to be doing next. So I know we'll all be listening in. So we're going to be wrapping up in just a little bit, but is there anything else that you would like to share with students or the audience to help keep them motivated, focused on their goals? And if people want to connect with you to just pick your brain or network as well, maybe you have a way of people to connect with you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think again, it is a difficult time for people, and that's not, not lost on anybody. But you're in such a fantastic spot being a student at Fresno City College, where there's so many resources available to you. Again, working in the Veterans Office while I was there, it helped me learn a little bit more of what types of resources are available. Don't be afraid to seek those out. They don't, now that you're a college student, they don't necessarily come to you. You have to seek them out, but don't be
Good
afraid to do
point.
so. Yeah, absolutely. Don't be afraid to do so, because everybody that I interacted with at Fresno City College was so helpful. And I think, it's got to be such an awesome experience to work there, because you get to see these, young students or even older students that just have something more that they want for their lives, and, are working hard to get it. So take advantage of those resources. They're there. The people are willing to help you out. And, nobody really goes anywhere without the help of others. So,
So true.
you know, you know, if you don't seek help from others, you're not going to go as far as you can. So just make sure to have somebody help you out along the way. We all have to do it.
Well,
As
it's
far
so
as getting
true.
in contact with me, oh,
Oh, go
sorry
ahead. Go
about that.
ahead. Yeah.
As far as getting in contact with me, I would, love if anybody reached out to me. I enjoy helping students out. In fact, we have a program with the Beverly Hills High School. They have a business program. So we bring in students usually during the summer to give them internship opportunities. And we also do networking events and such with them, so they can see some of the professionals in their lives that are doing what they seek to do in the future. But my email address is nicholas.j.lara@gmail.com. So that's nicholas.j.lara@gmail.com. And happy to chat with anybody and take some time out. And, if I can give any advice, would be happy to.
Well, Nick, thank you so much for sharing your story for success. Ram fans always say we are rewarded for what we create in life. So be creative, believe in yourself, and dream your dreams to achieve them. So be inspired. Bye, everybody.
Absolutely. Bye, Miley.
Bye.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.